gusesagura n'ubupfapfa. Zirikana ko iyo mbimenya ari ijambo ribi maze ukoreshe neza imari yawe. Radio Imanzi 105.1 FM.
We got you updated. This is Radio Imanzi News in English.
Good evening, dear listener. Thank you for tuning in. This is Radio Imanzi 105.1 FM, broadcasting from Kigali. Here are the news in English, brought to you by Alvin Umngari. The headlines. Rwanda welcomes 20 million euros AU support towards Mozambique operations. Rwandan diplomat Jean-Didier Uwihanganye has presented his letters of credence to the President of Indonesia, Joko Widodo. A delegation from the Eastern Africa Standby Force Secretariat led by Brigadier General Vansaga Tama has started a 3-day working visit in Rwanda. Air Tanzania Company Limited plane has been seized in the Netherlands. We'll be back with news in detail. Welcome back. The European Union has approved 20 million euros, approximately 22.7 billion Rwandan francs, in assistance for the operations of the Rwandan troops in Cabo Delgado, Mozambique, where they have been fighting Islamic State-linked terrorists. The AU package adds to the ongoing assistance of 89 million euros for the Mozambican army in conjunction with the AU training mission Mozambique, and 15 million euros for the Southern Africa Development Community mission in the country. At the request of the Mozambican government, in July 2021, Rwanda deployed 1,000 military and police officers to Cabo Delgado, a coastal region with natural gas reserves. Vansaga Tama, Rwanda's foreign minister, said the AU support was welcomed. Rwanda greatly appreciates the support announced today by the European Council of 20 million euros from the European Peace Facility to ensure that Rwandan troops working alongside Mozambican forces continue to have the equipment and logistics. The support comes after President Paul Kagame said on Wednesday that the initial operations had been a success and 1,500 troops were sent on Tuesday to support their colleagues in Cabo Delgado. Rwanda and Mozambique had agreed to pursue the terrorists where they are now. The assistance measure will enable the acquisition of collective and personal equipment and cover costs related to the strategic airlift needed to sustain the Rwandan development in Cabo Delgado. Rwandan diplomat Jean-Didier Uwihanganye has presented his letters of credence to the President of Indonesia, Joko Widodo. With residence in Singapore, Ambassador Uwihanganye also covers Australia and New Zealand. He presented his credentials at the Istana Merdeka Presidential Palace in Jakarta on Thursday, December 1st. The envoy expressed Rwanda's commitment to strengthen bilateral relations between Indonesia and Rwanda, which mainly focuses on trade. President Widodo expressed his appreciation of Rwanda's attendance at this recently concluded G20 summit in Bali. The Indonesian president committed to strengthening existing bilateral relations between the two countries, according to the communique. Rwanda imports mainly vegetable oils from Indonesia, while it exports tea and coffee to the Southeastern Asian country. A delegation from the Eastern Africa Standby Force Secretariat, led by Force Commander Brigadier General Vansaga Tama, on Thursday, December 1st, started a 3-day working visit in Rwanda. The purpose of the visit was to conduct verification of Rwanda's pledged capabilities. The Eastern Africa Standby Force delegation paid a courtesy call to the RDF headquarters and were welcomed by Brigadier General Patrick Karuretwa, the head of International Military Cooperation Operation Department. They discussed ongoing and future engagements between RDF and Eastern Africa Standby Force. The Eastern Africa Standby Force, a regional organization whose mandate is to enhance peace and security in the Eastern Africa region, comprises 10 active member states, which are Burundi, Comoros, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Kenya, Rwanda, Seychelles, Somalia, Sudan, and Uganda. The Eastern Africa Standby Force delegation paid a courtesy call to the Rwanda Defense Force headquarters and were welcomed by Brigadier General Patrick Karuretwa, the head of the International Military Cooperation Department. They discussed ongoing and future engagement between RDF and Eastern Africa Standby Force. Babli, a subsidiary of Babylon and Novo Nordisk, announced today that they have entered in an innovative partnership to contribute to the expansion of diabetes awareness and care in Rwanda, drawing on Novo Nordisk's expertise and mission to drive change to defeat diabetes and Babli's existing infrastructure and experience in delivering digital health services at scale in Rwanda. This new joint initiative aims to improve awareness, care, and management of diabetes through community engagement, skills building, and use Babli advanced digital technology. By offering digital consultations to patients across Rwanda, Babli service will support people in better understanding the symptoms that they're experiencing, as well as supporting patients with a confirmed diabetes diagnosis to manage their chronic conditions from the ease and privacy of their own mobile phone. Patients will be consulted by a doctor or a nurse and guided to the appropriate level of care they need, including medication and referral for laboratory tests. Vinay Ransiwal, Vice President and General Manager of Novo Nordisk Middle Africa, said our data shows that a lot of people living with diabetes are unaware of it, and that many people already diagnosed are unable to access the care they need. Babli will also deliver a health education campaign that builds greater awareness around diabetes and its health risks to encourage prevention, early detection, and adherence to disease management among the broader Rwandan population. Dr. Simba Kaliopi, Medical Director of Babli, said, "We're so excited about this cutting-edge partnership with Novo Nordisk that allows Babli to strengthen our offering to patients and raise awareness of diabetes. This is an important issue in the country and government priority." We'll be back with economic news.
Economic news is a regular feature on Radio Imanzi.
The trading session recorded a turnover of 148,919,862 Rwandan francs worth of bonds traded in 9 deals on the fixed income market and 91,800 Rwandan francs from 600 shares traded in 2 deals on the equities market. Equities counters closed as follows: MTN at 175 Rwandan francs, Bralirwa at 166 Rwandan francs, I&M Rwanda at 43 Rwandan francs, Bank of Kigali at 270 Rwandan francs, Simerwa at 120 Rwandan francs, Equity at 440 Rwandan francs, Kenya Commercial Bank at 370 Rwandan francs, National Media Group at 1,200 Rwandan francs, Uchumi Supermarket Limited at 104 Rwandan francs, and R&H Buffalo at 526 Rwandan francs. We'll be back shortly with international news.
Some items of international news on Radio Imanzi.
Air Tanzania Company Limited, ATCL, plane has been seized in the Netherlands after a Swedish firm won $165 million award against Tanzania due to revoke land title in the Bagamoyo sugar project. It is still not clear exactly which aircraft on Air Tanzania Company Limited fleet has been seized and under what circumstances, but it is said to be on the ATCL's Airbus planes. The government has dispelled fears of the possible attachment of the ATCL plane by a Dutch court, with the Attorney General saying everything was under control. Dr. Elise Feleshi confirmed to Tanzanian Citizen newspaper that a Swedish firm that won a $165 million award against Tanzania had persuaded the court to uphold the attachment of the aircraft despite the International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes having issued a stay of execution pending annulment proceedings. 3 Cameroonian Americans were arrested by the FBI on the same day, where they were indicted by the federal grand jury in Missouri, charging them of their roles in a conspiracy to provide material support or resources to a conspiracy to kidnap people and use weapons of mass destruction in a foreign country. The trio allegedly supported and raised funds more than $350,000 for English-speaking separatists in Cameroon since January 2018. These funds were supposedly raised through online chat applications and payment platforms from individuals located in the United States and abroad, then transferred from various financial and cryptocurrency accounts controlled by the defendants through intermediaries to the separatist fighters to support attacks in Cameroon. According to the indictment, the defendants drafted a list of expenditures related to improvised explosive devices named as IEDs, firearms, and ammunition. If convicted, the defendants face a maximum legal sentence of up to 15 years in prison for receiving money from a ransom charge and up to 20 years in prison for the money laundering conspiracy. The FBI said it was continuing its investigation to dismantle the entire network. Yaoundé has not yet reacted to the announcement, and the Cameroonian government has always asked countries hosting separatists to extradite them to Cameroon for trial. Africa's top public health bodies say the continent is set to receive its first batch of monkeypox vaccines as a donation from South Korea. The Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said Thursday the 50,000 doses will be used first for health workers and people living in the hardest hit areas. No timing was given for the doses' arrival. The continent this year has recorded 202 deaths from monkeypox, formerly known as monkeypox, with a fatality rate of 19.3% across 13 countries. Yet African health authorities from month have pursued vaccines mostly in vain, as major outbreaks were reported in rich Western countries for the first time. Acting CDC Director Ahmed Ogwell noted 51 new monkeypox cases in Congo in the past week and said Ghana and Nigeria are the other most affected countries. President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa is expected to appeal before the ruling party's executive committee on Thursday over charges of violating the constitution. Details have emerged that Ramaphosa's allies are arming themselves before a meeting of the African National Congress National Executive Committee, during which he'll likely to be asked to resign. An advisory panel found that President Ramaphosa may have violated sections of the constitution following a theft of $580,000 that was stashed in a sofa at a game firm he owns. Provisions within the party's constitution notes that members facing criminal charges must step aside from the rules to allow legal processes to unfold. President Ramaphosa hasn't been charged, and on Wednesday reiterated his denial in any wrongdoings, where there may be instances in which the party's integrity body must ask officials facing allegations of wrongdoing to step down. And that brings us to the end of today's program. Let us see the headlines once more.
Ikibazo cya Kongo kirimo ibintu byinshi. Kongo, Rwanda, M23, FDLR.
Rwanda welcomes 20 million euros of United Union support towards Mozambique operations. Rwandan diplomat Jean Didier Uwihanganye has presented his letters of credence to the president of Indonesia, Joko Widodo. A delegation from the Eastern Africa Standby Force Secretariat, led by Brigadier General Vensa Gatama, has started a 3-day working visit in Rwanda. Air Tanzania Company Limited, ATCL, plane has been seized in the Netherlands. President Paul Kagame made a speech about the issues going on in DR Congo. Let us listen to what he has to say.
ikibazo cya kongo